Hi there. Thanks for watching my views and news channel. Berhanu Jula Ethiopian military chief's interview with a journalist was aired last night. Second part of it was aired. I did a video on its first part last week. Second part was aired last night, and Janel Jula humiliated Fano, the president of Somalia, Somalia's military. He talked about Ola as well. We'll try to have a detailed look at what the general said. He talked very fondly about one Fano commander. Is this Fano commander in contact with the government? He did not criticize Eritrea as well. Is Ethiopia trying a rapprochement with Eritrea? Does Ethiopia want to ensure that Eritrea does not actively support Somalia? That is why Jula was soft on Eritrea. Let's have a look at what Jula said. Let's start with what he said about Fano. Jula lashed out at Fano. Perhaps it's because Fano is hurting the military a lot. Active conflict these days in Ethiopia is in the Amhara region. Fano fighters are definitely hurting the military. That is why Jula called them bandits. He said these fighters in the Amhara region, they are basically bandits. He accused Nama Genbot 7 ANDM former, which turned into Prosperity Party. That elements of these three groups, ANDM, Genbot 7, and NAMA, National Movement of Amharas, they formed FANO. Fanos know no discipline. They are looters. They have been looting, they are still looting. And then he made a big claim that banditry has been historically pervasive in the Amhara region. He accused politicians as well. He said today's politicians are ex-looters or ex-bandits. He was talking about politicians of the Amhara region. He said that Ola, TPLF, ONLF, they had discipline. But Fanos are looters, bandits. Are Fano really looting people? And he said Fanos are killing teachers, they are slaughtering cows, they are just killing people, they are destroying the region. Are Fano really looters? Are they looting banks? Are they robbing banks? Are they looting people? I don't know how Jula reached this conclusion, but I have been covering this conflict in the Mali for almost a year now. Since day one, I've been covering this conflict. I cannot say that Fano has been involved in large-scale looting of private properties. Yes, they attack government offices, they attack police stations, they rob fertilizer from government offices. But to say that they're involved in large scale looting of private properties, that perhaps is not correct. Then he talked about the agenda. He said they have no agenda. They have no local agenda, let alone an international agenda. They have no agenda. They're not united. Then he talked about Skandar. He said only Skandar tried to talk. If you remember, Skandar a few months ago responded to a call for talks from US ambassador to Ethiopia. Later, he came under pressure and he had to withdraw. He mentioned that Skandar wanted talks, but he came under attacks. Secondly, he said Skandar is from Addis Ababa. He's not the like. He's not like the people who loot. So again, he defended Skandar. Is Skandar in contact with ENDF? It seems that Skandar is in contact with the Ethiopian National Defense Force, because Jula spoke favorably about Skandar only in all Fano groups. No talks with Fano. He said they have no agenda. So why waste time? They don't want to talk. Basically said that we will crush them. They're destroying the region. They don't want talks. They have backing of political parties in the region. Those who are backing are not politicians. They're basically ex-looters, and we will destroy Farm. This is what he said. Largely, this is what he said about Fano. Then Ola. He made a big claim about an Ola commander whose name is Jal Chala. He said he's not an Oromo, he's an Amhara. Eshenafi Gundaro is his name. He's from Nama political party, but he was recruited in Ola. He was shown as if he is Amhara, but he is as if he is Oromo, but he is Amhara. And this man was involved in kidnapping of 18 students in Dambidono. Then he made a big claim. He said Ola was forming brigades. It has grown to a level where it was forming brigades. But now Ola's capabilities have been seriously weakened. Ola is no more in a position to be a serious threat. And he said, before Amhara, you'll see peace in Oromia. We know that a few days ago, an Ola commander parted his ways with the main organization. Saniye Nagasa is the name of this commander. He's backed by the military. He has joined the government reportedly. ENDF officers organized his press talks reportedly. So Jula is hoping that in coming weeks and months, Ola will, he didn't say it will cease to exist. He said there'll be people fighting, but its main fighting force, main fighting strength will be completely crushed. Will there be talks between Ola government? He said that ENDF can play a role in talks. He said people criticize ENDF's political role in negotiations, but ENDF can play the role of a mediator between military, between these groups and government. Why? He said ENDF knows the psychology of these groups and fighters. ENDF knows them very well. That is why ENDF can play a role in negotiations. Somalia viewers. Jula, I always say, should hold his tongue. He should know how to speak. He passes irresponsible remarks. We have seen that in the past as well. He talks about those things which he should avoid. Again, what he said will add fuel to the fire in Ethiopia-Somalia relations. He addressed Hassan Sheikh directly, without calling him president. Hassan Sheikh, Hassan Sheikh. He said Hassan Sheikh is not a warrior. He has no military. He cannot protect his capital. His people dying there in Mogadishu. He said you should protect your capital first, then talk about fighting Ethiopia. You cannot fight Ethiopia. He said military, Somalia has no military. It's less than an Ethiopian region's police. No military. How can you fight Ethiopia? He said 60% of Somalia was being controlled by Ethiopia recently. Now it is a little less than that. But this is what on the ground situation is. Hassan Sheikh cannot wage war on Ethiopia. He can only wage proxy wars. He can back bandas, traitors in Ethiopia, and he said, we are ready to fix these Ethiopian traitors. He said that Somalia, Hassan Sheikh could back traitors in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has friends in Somalia who will support us. Is Ethiopia arming uh, Portland, Southwest State, Gulmudug, Heran? He said no, but we can do that. It's an option we can use. By the way, Ethiopia denies. Somalia says Ethiopia is already exercising this option. Ethiopian government is already providing weapons to Portland, Southwest State, etc. They denied. They said this is an option, open, but right now we're not arming any elements in Somalia. His use of words for Hassan Sheikh was very inappropriate. He should have been more restrained in his talk. Is Ethiopia surrounded? He said no. Somalia not in a position to wage war on Ethiopia. Eritrea, he said, has every right to develop ties with Somalia, with Egypt, etc. Did not say any bad words about Eritrea. Perhaps Ethiopia wants reconciliation with Eritrea. That is why he was very restrained in his remarks about Eritrea. Egypt, he said again that Egypt is not a threat to Ethiopia. Egypt cannot use Somalia as the place for proxy war. Somalia should not allow itself to be used as a proxy by Egypt. This is what the uh, chief of Ethiopian military said. If you just continue calling Somalia's military weak, what will Somalia's military do? Obviously, it will try to strengthen itself. It will arm itself. If you say, Hassan Sheikh, you cannot fight, it means you're provoking him to fight. He will fight. If you say you're not a warrior, you will make him a warrior because he will prove that he's a warrior. So I believe that Jula's remarks, Jula's views are very extreme. He should be careful. Perhaps the policy, foreign policy related issues should be handled by politicians, not by journalists. He shouldn't be allowed to be on these YouTube channels because his remarks will definitely spoil the already fragile relations between Ethiopia and Somalia, maybe internally as well. I mean, government will have to talk to Fano one day. How can you say that politicians in the Amhara region are ex-bandits? Do you have any proof? How can you say that banditry has been pervasive in the region historically as well? Big claims. I think he will face criticism after this interview. Thank you for watching.